So if you live off grid or you do a lot of RVing, you know one of the biggest issues is getting rid of human waste. And I have a product here today that I got from OGO, or as I like to call him, OGO. It is a composting toilet. It is fully electric composting toilet. This is the creme de la creme of the poopy place to compost. Yes, that's right. Compost toilet is fully automated. It comes with an air vent, air exhaust, urine separator, pretty much the entire works, everything to make you feel like you're in modern society while, like me, being 100% off grid. So right now we've been using my own homemade Home Depot bucket style of a compost system, and it's worked well for a couple of years, but it was time to upgrade, especially for the wifey, to get a little more, I don't know, creature comfort. And so I'm going to show you guys this model that I got from them, and I'm also going to show you how I'm going to install it, and I'll test it out and let you know what I think about it. So yeah, let's jump into it. So first thing with it, I did get some of this stuff from them. This is their own brand from OGO, and this is their Cocoa Core. And so basically this is full of the good bacteria that is going to help compost your poo-poo. And it smells really nice as well. So this is basically cocoa husk ground up and added with some beneficial bacteria that's going to help to break down your poo-poo. And I also got the urine diverter kit. Now you'll see where this comes into play here in a minute. This is an add-on. And I also got the AC adapter for the toilet itself, because it comes ready to go with an your DC, so you can plug this into a DC battery. But I have power here off of my solar, and so I wanted to be able to just plug this bad boy in, and that's what we're going to do with it here as soon as we get it installed. Now what comes with the toilet, when you lift up the lid, you can see right off of the gate, there's your poo-poo place, which will open when you push this little power button over here, I believe anyway. And this is your urine diverter. Has not been used yet, and that's why I'm touching it the way I am. Otherwise I probably would not be doing that. And then you open this up, and here is the goodies inside. So let's open up the sides here. It has these little clips. We'll just clip those open, move this out of the way. And then we can open this up and pull this out and show you. So here you have your urine bucket, right? So you're going to pee into the urine diverter, and it's going to go into this bucket. But I have decided to forego the bucket, because the less buckets I have to maneuver and play with, the better. So I got the urine diverter kit. This is going to go straight down into the floor, underneath the crawl space, and I'm going to connect it into the gray water since it's not going to have any poo-poo in it. They also send you a nice little spray bottle. That's very thoughtful. This is your exhaust hose, which I believe is going to connect back here. Well, I'm trying to do this one-handed, so it's a little bit difficult, but I believe it connects onto there. It should. And then you can exhaust this out of your house, which I will do. Instruction manual, which is nice. And there is your DC power kit, so that you can use DC and a cap for your PP. And so in here, this hook, when you turn it on, this is going to spin around. It's going to keep your poop mixed up and aerated along with your cocoa mix. It's going to break down really nice, and you should only have to, dump this thing out, because without water, poop actually shrinks really, really small. And so as it is dried out, maybe I think I'll have to dump this between me and my wife using this, I don't know, maybe once a week, maybe every 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes, but it's going to help to compost it as you're doing your business, right? And then there are some holes down here so that you can actually mount this to the floor, which I will do. Now I have a concrete floor that is going in, and so I need to get my hose put in for my urine diverter, and then pour the concrete floor, and then I can bolt this down to that concrete once I have that ready to go. And this will be nice and steady and sturdy and ready to go. So let's go get the urine diverter put in, then I'll pour the concrete, and then I'll install this, and then I'll use it.
So the first thing I had to do once I got the unit into the bathroom was try to figure out where exactly I was going to set it, where I was going to put the exhaust hose as well as the pee diverter kit. So just a little bit of trial and error. Now I need to measure out where the pee diverter kit is going to go. So you see the center hole there, that is the center of the pee diverter kit, and underneath the house I need to measure to make sure I don't run into a floor joist, and of course, sure enough, I did. So I'm going to have to scoot it over just a little bit and cut through that blocking. Back inside, now I need to mark out my hole for where I'm going to drill. So the first thing you need to do is take out the solid waste bin, get that out of the way, and then you need to take the motor cover off. And now you'll be able to easily cut out the very thin plastic hole so that you can mark the hole for your drilling point. Now you will need a 1.25 inch drill bit here to cut through the floor. That's the perfect size for that pipe. And you will also need a drill of some sort, whether a cordless one like I have or a corded one should do just fine. So just drill through the point where you want to get below the floor, and then your pipe will be able to slide right in there. Next, you're going to need a 2-inch hole saw in order to cut the hole for your exhaust vent. And so just make sure wherever you're cutting that there's no plumbing behind that wall or electrical, so that you do not have a bigger problem than you want to deal with. Now that I have that all done, I want to dry fit the pee diverter kit, and so basically one of the 3 pieces is going to go under the floor, the other one is attached with a coupler which can be screwed into the unit, and then the other part goes all the way up to the pee diverter, which is up by my hat right now. And so yeah, I just want to kind of dry fit this in. I'm not going to PVC glue this in until I am fully confident in everything. And it even says in the instructions that you don't have to PVC glue this. The fittings are pretty tight and snug, so you're not going to have any leaks if you do not PVC glue it. So I may do it later, but as of right now, I am just kind of piecing these together and making sure that everything functions properly. Now it's time for a little bit of floor prep. As I mentioned earlier, this floor is going to be a concrete floor, so just a little cleanup and putting some concrete applicator that is recommended to help the concrete stick to the concrete board. I'm using 1/4 inch HardieBacker board as my substrate, and then I will be pouring concrete on top of that. Next order of business is to seal up any cracks and holes. Obviously I have a hole in the floor for the pee diverter kit, so I'm just going to put in the pipe, and to make sure the pipe doesn't stick, I just wrapped it in plastic and some painter's tape, and then I'm just going to caulk around it just to make sure that the concrete cannot seep through that. And then I'm also going to caulk around all of the edges to make sure that the concrete doesn't flow underneath in case there's any cracks between the floor and the walls. Now I'm only pouring concrete in the bathroom at this point, so I need to block it off. So I just took a 2x6 that spans across the entire doorway, taped it off with some plastic, threw some caulk underneath it, and then screwed it to the 2 door jamb studs. Now it's time for my least favorite part of this project, and that is mixing self-leveling concrete. I have used this stuff several times before. You definitely want to mix this outside, as it does kick up a lot of dust, and you do not want to be breathing that. If you have to mix it inside, make sure that you are wearing a proper respirator. Now for the fun part, which is pouring self-leveling concrete. This stuff spreads out pretty much like slow moving water. It is a pretty cool product. I really like using it. However, I used 2 buckets on this small bathroom. In hindsight, that was too thick of a pour and I ended up getting some cracks, but I can always fix those. You just have to Dremel out the crack and then put in some crack sealer. But for the most part, it went pretty good. You do just have to kind of move the stuff around in order to get it to settle where you want it, and then it will settle nice and flat. Well, after letting everything settle overnight and a nice hot cup of coffee in the morning, come back in to do a little bit of sealing. I just want to seal all the holes. I've been meaning to seal this one where my water inlet is for over a month and I just haven't done it. So I might as well get that one done while I'm doing it. And then I'll just do the rest of them here.
Well, folks, is the OGO composting toilet worth the money? I'll just say this: all's well that ends well. After installing this, which was an absolute breeze, and using it, I gotta tell you like this, man. Is it a flushing toilet? No, but that's not what a composting toilet is. And so if you're trying to have a flushing toilet, you should probably live in the city. But if you live off grid or you're on an RV, the composting toilet is absolutely great. No more having to go and dump black tanks in your RV. This thing will compost for weeks, and then you just simply bag it up, throw it in the trash, or throw it out in a garden or something like that. Once it's fully composted, human waste need to wait at least bare minimum of 6 months of letting compost. So if you have a compost heap like we do out here on our off-grid cabin, then you can put it there. We usually typically leave ours, since we have so much land, for about 2 years before we'll actually spread it. So I give it a thumbs up. OGO toilet, composting toilet, absolutely a game changer for us out here. No more having to use that old raggedy Home Depot homemade compost bin that well, yeah, it worked for an outdoor compost, but not so much inside the cabin. So big upgrade here. Wife's gonna love it. I know you'll love it too. Go pick yourself one up. I'll leave a link down in the description.